All right, let's talk about delivering your document. Normally you put something together like this, you're either going to save it as a file and then maybe attach it to an email and send it that way. So that's one thing, right? But what if you wanted to send this document via snail mail? Okay, so what you're going to need is an actual envelope or a label, printed, so that you can go ahead and send it off on its way. It's pretty funny these days. There are no, in a lot of companies, most of the companies out there, there's no typewriters. They got rid of their typewriters long ago because they've got the word processing, but they forgot that, if you have to make an envelope, have to type up an envelope, the only alternative, if they didn't know any better, would be just to handwrite an envelope. Well, this way, you can actually get a nice, professionally typed envelope, with the address and return address and all that on it, based on whatever address you've got in your email, or I'm sorry, in your document here, or you can actually create an envelope with an address and return address without anything to start with, right? But I'm going to show you a couple different ways you can do this. So first of all, let's say that we want to take this address right here, all right, name and address and all that, and we want to make an envelope out of it, all right? So what we'll do is we select that first, we go back into the mailings tab, all right, and over here, now this area here, don't get this confused here, this is all for mail merge, and we're going to learn that in another video coming up, but this is not where you want to be. This is the area right here. This is where you're going to be able to create your single envelope or your labels or what have you, okay? So we're going to start out with envelopes. So we click on envelopes. And then this comes up here. So it shows the delivery address. And right off the bat, you see what you see here. So this is the delivery address, all right? If you have an electronic stamp printing system built into your computer, it'll actually even create the stamp for you. It'll actually print the stamp on the envelope for you. And you would do that by clicking onto here. Now, I'm going to get a little error from this because it's going to say you need to install electronic postage software, right? Would you like to visit the web and get one? We're not going to do that right now. But you could do that on your own, and if you set that up, then it'll actually create the little stamp for you as well, all right? So the only thing you really need to do here is put in the return address. Now, if you're using like company letterhead type envelopes, they already have the return address in there. You don't need to put anything in there. But if you do want to have it put in the return address, you would type in whatever your information there is, and that's it. Now the other thing is that it kind of defaults to the number 10 business envelope size. If you've got some other kind of envelope, what you want to do is go here to options, all right? And up at the top here, you tell it what you've got, all right? And there's quite a few in there. You can also go with your custom size. You can click onto that, and then it'll ask you for the measurements, all right? And while we're here, you can pick the font that you want to use for here. Now, right now, it's going to kind of default to, the font that we're using, right? But you can go in here, you can say something like this. We'll go here to font. You can say, well, I want this to be, we'll do the Arial black, all right? And we'll keep it about 12, that's fine. We don't need to make it bold. Hit OK, all right? And then we can just hit OK on that as well, all right? Now when you're ready to print this, what you want to do is you want to take a look at how it's being fed in there. So it's saying for your particular printer that you're using, or that I'm using in this case, that you'd kind of feed it in face up into the envelope feeding, just the manual feed area there, stamp first, stamp side first, going in there. And then once you've got that envelope in there, then you can just hit print, and it would print out the envelope on that piece of paper, on that envelope that you stuffed in there. Now, if you'd rather have it where it attaches the envelope to your document, if you do it that way, then when you go to print the document, it'll know to print the envelope from that from the manual feed that you have, and then the rest of the paper will come from the tray. All right. I mean, if you want to do that, that's fine. If you think that's going to be too complicated, just go ahead and print the envelope, you know, just by hitting the print there. But I'm going to add it to the document so you can actually see what this thing looks like, right? So we're going to go ahead and hit add to document, and there it goes. So it ends up being, believe it or not, if you look at this, it puts you, basically this is the first page of the printout. So this will pull, you know, from the manual feed, and then the rest of them will come from the regular tray, see? But there's your envelope. Pretty nice. And again, if you had the return address area stuff up there, you would have seen something like that up at the top, blah, blah, blah. But nonetheless, there it is. So pretty cool. You can even go in there and say, well, you know what, while I'm at it, I'll go and highlight this and go back to my home tab and maybe make it bold. Whatever you want to do. You could put maybe below it here, you could go right there, hit the enter key, and maybe put a few spaces in there and say attention, you know, blah, blah, and that would go in there, all right? But nonetheless, that's pretty slick, all right? So that's how you would do the envelope, all right? Now, if for some reason you need to put this into like a manila envelope, and of course the manila envelope is not going to fit in most printers, so you end up saying, well, I guess what I'll do is I'll create a label, all right, and do it that way. So how would we go about doing that? Well, again, we would just go ahead and select the data, all right? There we go. We're going to go back into mailings, all right? Now this time we're going to go over here to labels. So we'll click onto that, and there's your label, or that's the information that's going on the label. Now, we're not using these labels here, so what we need to do is we need to go ahead and go into the options, all right, and tell it that we're using whatever. You know, popular one is like your would be your Avery. Oops, too far there. So our Avery US, I'll just pick there, right? And let's just say that you're using the 3 across by 10 down, which I think is the 5160. And it's kind of weird here because it's not exactly in perfect order here, but go down here a little bit. All right, I paused the video there and kind of sped it up here a little bit here. So there's 5160, all right? So we click onto that, 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, and you've got basically your 3 across and 10 down. If you want to see it, you want to see what it looks like, you can go to details here, and you can kind of see what that is. So it's telling you that this is the size, its number across is 3, and down is 10. Don't mess with this. it's like perfect, all right? So you do that, you hit OK, there we go. And now you got a choice here. Now, here's the thought. You only need one label, but the sheet has 30 of them, right? How do you make sure that it prints, let's say, maybe to the first label? What you do is you don't say, I want 30 labels printed, like a full page of the same label. No. What you'll do is you'll click on a single label, and you'll say, okay, I just stuffed in a label sheet, and I've already used a few of the labels. So the newest, the next one from the top that I actually have a label on, right, is on my third row, second column, right? So it'd be like if you looked at a sheet of labels, it'd be the third row down, and then the second label in, right? And that's the first one that there's actually a label there. All the previous ones have been pulled already because you've used this sheet for many times printing out labels. So that's what you do there. And that would be it. That's all you'd have to do. And you're not going to be able to see this, but I don't know if let's see if I hit print, what happens here. If I get no, I'm not going to get anything. It's going to go print on my printer now. But just imagine what it would look like. It's not any big deal there. It looks just fine. All right, so that looks good. If again you wanted to print out a full sheet of them because maybe you sent out letters all the time to this person and you just want to maybe keep it in your file cabinet, you can just pull it out and peel a label off and stick it on. If that were the case, then you say, okay, I want to do a full page, all right, of the same label. And I'd say, okay, in this way, I'm going to show you the document, how it's going to look here. So I'll click on the new document, and there it is. There's your labels. So pretty slick stuff there. Okay, so hopefully this will work for you. I think it's a great little system, very easy to use, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Take care.